It's not clickbait.
The Summer 2023 Anime Awards was my last awards video.
There it is. That's it. Send tweet. We're all done here. That's all you need to know, right? Oh, wow.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Come one and come all to the Seasonal Anime Awards, an award show that I thought I was done with until the abysmal Jujutsu Kaisen Awards of 2024 lit a new, fiery passion within me. At the time of recording this, the winter 2024 season just finished wrapping up, and the spring Isekai are about to bloom. Would it have been smarter to start off with the winter awards instead of backtracking to fall 2023? Yeah, probably. But I hate leaving things unfinished, and I know when I'm looking back on my Anime Awards playlist that missing video is going to be killing me. And besides, it's not like fall 2023 was a dud for anime. Far from it, actually. We had yet another stacked season of anime that I cannot wait to talk about. But before we talk about the good, we have to get the bad out of the way first. Worst anime. Oh, worst anime, how I will not miss you when you are officially retired. That's right, guys. I don't want to seek out bad anime just to nominate them for this award anymore. We're the roast fun. Absolutely. But I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I think it's time to let go of this category so we can finally put more attention on the shows that really deserve it. But I had already dropped a laundry list of anime for this season, and I did not watch those stinkers for nothing. So strap in, we are going to talk about some bad anime. We got lolly bait, we got jail bait, we have Gundam bait, we have gamer bait, and superhero bait. I wouldn't say most of these shows are necessarily bad, but at least in my opinion, they failed to live up to what their premises could have been. For the most part, I'm not trying to tell you that these shows are awful or I'm trying to steer you away from them. If you like these shows, power to you. But come on, looking at this lineup, you already knew who was going to win this. Maybe win is the wrong word. Worst anime.
I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her raven hair. This burning desire is turning me to...
A girl and her guard dog. Or as the rest of the internet has deemed this, a girl and her groomer. Man, where do I even begin? Basic premise. An orphan high school girl who was raised in a Yakuza family falls in love with a 26-year-old man. You know, classic shoujo stuff. But I guess the spice here is that girlie is orphaned, and the man she ends up falling in love with is the Yakuza guard who's been raising her since her parents died. And bro loves her too.
There's something I gotta tell you. I'm Chris Hansen, and I work for a show called Dateline NBC.
Listen, premise aside, if I didn't have that manga knowledge, honestly, episode 1 isn't that bad. Sure, the main two are sus, but this is anime, right? It's to be expected, but knowing where these two characters are going ruins any scenes between them. This is a show where nothing really happens, and it's hard to stay invested with such, an off-putting premise, to say kindly. And then there's episode 9. I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that at all. It does not help that the animation for the show takes a massive nosedive as the series progresses. By the last episode, we are in flashback and slideshows level of budget here. Yeah, this is the worst anime of the season by far. I'm just glad I don't have to talk about it anymore. And with that, I must say, adieu, worst anime. I'm sure I'll find some way to riff off on disappointing anime without you, but now, I'm finally free from looking for dumpster fires.
Hey now, don't get too ahead of yourself. We still have the People's Choice Awards to talk about.
I swear, if it's anything but a girl and her guard dog, I'm going to have a serious talk with my viewers.
Come on, Josh. It can't be that bad. So, what about that envelope? The final People's Choice Awards for Worst Anime goes to A Girl and Her Guard Dog.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm glad to say that certainly didn't surprise anyone.
Yeah, you can say that again. Best Isekai and Fantasy. Edge, edge, edge! This truly is a season of sequels for you fantasy fans out there. Goblin Slayer, Ancient Magus Bride, Dead Mount Deathplay, which I'll get around to watching, Dr. Stone the Goat, Omnipotent Saint, Eminence in Shadow, The Faraway Paladin, and Shield Hero. For anyone still watching that. All return to fill out this incredibly overstuffed bracket. And as if that wasn't enough, we have a ton of new faces coming to the table as well. We got Edge with guns, Edge with dragons, Edge with Kirito. Speaking of Kirito, there's also Sword Art Online, but it's boring. Sword Art Online, but it's edgy. Sword Art Online, but it's good? We have Vampire Yuri bait, Villainous Yuri. Hell yeah, baby! The life story of Marie Antoinette if she was given a second chance to cool her head. A wholesome daddy-daughter anime. A wholesome mommy-daughter anime. Your classic generic power fantasy. A show that looks cute but is boasting spores of war crimes in the light novel. And whatever this is about. Am I forgetting something? Oh yes, I truly wonder who's winning Best Fantasy this season. Best Fantasy. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
Kill yourself.
Yeah, it's just not fair for any other fantasy show this season, and to be fair for all the other isekai this season, I'm not including the second half of Frieren, as that wouldn't have been released at the time that this should have come up. But even with that heavy cap, Frieren solos everyone, like, it's not fair. When it comes to Best Isekai, I've got to be real with you. I did not watch that many this season. Listen, man, most of these were sequels to shows that I don't even care about, okay? I still haven't caught up to the Eminence in Shadow or Dead Mount Deathplay, even though I know I should. Shield Hero lost way too much steam in the Turtle arc. I've heard Season 3's pacing gets a little bit better, but if I'm being honest, I think I'll be satisfied with how Season 1 ended. Villainous was okay, I guess, but much like all the other shows in this little otome genre, my interest in it waned pretty quickly after the first 3 episodes. And Butsuraba? At least the pig's cute. I actually feel like I fumbled when it came to putting Shangri-La in the Best Isekai bracket. I feel conflicted about giving this one the dub, as it's not really an isekai. Don't get me wrong, it's super enjoyable and I can't wait to binge the second half of it, but my heart just isn't in it here. Since I fumbled in this bracket and I don't feel qualified enough to commentate here, I'm going to let the fans take over here and allow the People's Choice Awards to speak on my culturalist behalf. Best Isekai. The Eminence in Shadow, Season 2. So, apparently this season had vampires.
Did somebody say vampires like from his series, but let's straight up.
Okay, so maybe I didn't give the series a fair chance. Back when Season 1 was airing, there were just way too many shows I was falling behind on, and the first couple episodes of Eminence in Shadow didn't really grab my attention. I've since been made aware of how much of a massive mistake this was. Hopefully by the time Season 3 rolls around, I'll be caught up on the series so I can give my own 2 cents on it.
Alright, now it's time for me to read out the audience choice for Best Isekai, right?
No, Sora, I just did that.
What the hell am I even doing here?
You could read the audience choice for Best Fantasy?
Augers. The audience choice award for Best Fantasy goes to Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. I can't agree more with this votes from the audience. I really think Frieren really deserves every praise from it. From the opening into the plot of the whole 24 episodes, I really enjoyed it. And I really do felt that connection of watching these characters grow throughout the story.
Best Romance and Slice of Life. Was anyone else slightly underwhelmed with the selection of romance we had this season? I mean, when it slapped, but man, when they dragged. First Glasses-kun raised my suspicions, but Gairu Boy over here confirmed them. I detest the virgin protagonists in rom-coms now. Don't get me wrong, I don't need or want every rom-com protagonist to be a Giga Chad like yours truly, but characters like these take me out of the show oh so quickly. On the flip side of these battlers struggling to figure out how to talk to a single woman, this season gave us two protagonists that looked at their harems and said, nah, I'd win. Between your classic duos and the up and rising squad teams, it's really anyone's game for best romance this season. Best romance. Girlfriend, Season 2. Yeah, the classic duos did not stand a chance with this one, but who needs the wholesome classics when you have this dumpster fire to look forward to every week? If it wasn't going to be Girlfriend Squared, then it was going to be Girlfriend Nightmare Mode. There might be a 20th of the girls in this romance, but boy did they all shine. I love just how absurd this show can get while still managing to take itself semi-seriously. For a single moment, there was a scene in episode 4 that genuinely made me forget that this was some silly harem as the two characters got deep for a second. Noya and Nagisa were finally given a chance to talk. No side girls, no distractions, no polygamous nonsense. Just two characters talking about their feelings under the fireworks.
Do yourself a favor and be a hoe for once in your life!
And you quickly remember what kind of show you're watching, and I love it for it. Take notes, little guy. This is how you do a rom-com right. While it falls into some classic romance tropes, this is not your run-of-the-mill harem. Your mileage may vary on this one, but at least for me, this is the kind of garbage I love. When it comes down to slice of life, the disappointment did not leave me. 16-Bit Sensation was one of the ones I was looking forward to the most based off the premise, but boy did the main character make this absolutely insufferable to watch. Spy Family made its grand return stronger than ever, but the Apothecary Diaries was not going to let this old guard win without a fight.
Josh, you missed the best show of the season.
Oh? You actually watched something that wasn't Bungo Stray Dogs?
Hey, I watch anime.
Really? Name one.
My new boss is Goofy.
Alright, Ness, lay it on me. What's this show about?
So basically, Goofy Goober #1, he's abused by his boss in the workplace. So he moves to a new workplace. And that's where he meets Goofy Goober #2, his totally not homoerotic lover. I mean, his super new cool boss who is very kind and caring towards him. And they ensue in very goofy shenanigans together. It's a very sweet, wholesome show about men who goof off. Why can't men be real?
Hey, I'm standing right here!
My point still stands.
Well, anyways, I also really liked this anime. I thought each episode was absolutely adorable, and the building friendship between the goofy boss and the main character was so sweet to watch unfold.
Friendship, you say?
Don't go getting ahead of yourself here, Ness. That's for season 2. Honestly, if it wasn't for another show on this list, the Goofy Goobers would have easily taken the cake. Best Slice of Life. The Apothecary Diaries.
I knew it!
Just because it's basic doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, alright? It's popular for a reason. At the time of recording this, I've seen up to 17 episodes of The Apothecary Diaries, but just like Frieren, I am not counting anything past episode 12 when it comes to this show. What can I say about this series that hasn't already been said, am I right? Not only is Mao Mao one of the best protagonists of the entire year, but the mysteries and the people she engages with only serve to elevate the show. Every week we're treated with a new sickness, and in the background a cunning plot is developing that leaves you on the edge of your seat. You hardly ever feel those 20 minutes ticking away, and by the time those credits hit, your jaw is on the floor. Taking place before the time of modern medicine, we get to experience what it's like to live back then, how ignorant some people were, and how selfish others can be. When it comes to me, this is where the show truly shines. The day-to-day lives of these characters are enough to carry this entire show, no detective drama needed.
Guys, he's right. If you haven't seen this show, do yourself a favor and start watching it now. It's really good. After that, go and check out our reactions to every episode.
Nice plug. And hey, while you're sharing, why don't you share the audience choice for best romance and slice of life this season?
We all know Apothecary Diaries is going to win, though.
Wanna bet on it?
Well, now you're just making me unsure, but I think that I know what the people want. Audience choice for best slice of life. is Spy X Family Season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I fucks with it. I vibe with it. I think it's not an apothecary, but I mean, it's pretty good. I enjoyed the season a lot. It was really good. It was wholesome as shit. Had me, giggling. Give me the goosey bumps in there in some moments. I agree with this. You know what? This is fine.
Best action. This season had riveting action that you've never seen before. Ballbuster introduced us to a threat more menacing than any kaiju could hope to be. Paperwork. We had another firefighter anime, 2 racing shows, Vinland Saga set in the far future, the return of Tokyo Revengers, and an esports anime. Yeah, it's just as dull as you think it is.
Okay, now that I've read my favorite manga to the end, I think it's about time I put an end to myself.
She's so real! Undead Unlock came out of nowhere with some of the most unique implementations of a healing factor I've ever seen. And this is where I'm going to have to address the dramatic elephant in the room. You know how earlier I was saying that I should have nominated Shangri-La here, and you can really see why. A lot of these are better contenders for best drama. Take for instance Pluto. While there are certainly action sequences in it, this series shines when it's focusing on the detective drama aspects of the plot. NANI? What? I wanted to talk about Scott Pilgrim and Castlevania. I know they're not technically anime, but neither was Link Link, and that had a massive sweep in the last awards. Going into Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I was expecting an animated remake of the original, and boy was I wrong to think that, and the show was way better off for it. The plot and characters of Castlevania Nocturne may not have lived up to their predecessors, but damn did this show have some hands! And Spy Family was not holding back this season either, with those incredibly clean action sequences we've come to expect from studio juggernauts like Wit and Cloverworks behind the scenes. I've been begging for more Yor, and god damn did she deliver. So with all that being said, whose hands ended up being the last one standing? Best Action. Castlevania Nocturne. Please don't lynch me for this one. Alright, like I said before, Nocturne doesn't quite exactly live up to its predecessors in the way I was hoping for. But oh my god, every time I see that whip, I just... The animators certainly haven't lost their touch when it comes to crafting some of the best action sequences you'll ever have the pleasure of feasting your eyes on. Richter's ability to use magic as well as being an absolute beast with the whip in his hands is a sight to behold. And oh my god, that ending. Any doubts I had with this series were quickly left on the floor with those last 2 episodes. When it comes to setting up action scenes, Castlevania knows exactly what they're cooking. But now that I've explained my choice, I do believe it's time to hear what you guys had to say on this one. And the audience choice for Best Action of Fall 2023 is... Spy Family Season 2. Boy did that boat arc carry, and yes, it does deserve it. I wasn't the biggest fan of Spy Family back when Season 1 was airing, and I think I had my expectations in the wrong place. As more episodes aired, I began to turn around on the series, and by the time Season 2 came along, I thought I knew what to expect. But man, I was underestimating how much attention Yor was going to get this season. Best Ending Song. Man, I don't know if it's just me, but I was struggling to find some songs to put on this poll. But man, it might have been worth it because these 6 songs did not make it easy. There's definitely a theme going among these 6. Each one hits you right in the feels with more emotional elements stringing them together. We have 6 songs, but only one can truly take the place of Best Ending Song of 2023. Best Ending Song. Bliss by Malay. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Wait, whoa. The special ending that was only shown once? Well, I do love the nostalgic feeling and delicate vocals of Anytime Anywhere. There's just something about Bliss that calls out to me. There is such a strong sense of motherhood and connection spread throughout this entire song. While the series likes to joke that Frieren is a little old grandma, which, let me tell you, she fits that role perfectly, she and Fern have such a deep connection that affects each of them so much. Himmel taught Frieren not to take her time with people for granted, and Fern is teaching Frieren the meaning of being present in the moment. Seeing all the past relationships Frieren has had in her long life blink by as they lead to her first encounter with Fern hits so hard, especially as this could be seen as Frieren's first experience with motherhood. And Fern learns something from Frieren here as well.
As time moves on, her connection to the aloof elf teaches her to come out of her shell more. It's kind of funny because if you watch the series, there's times when Fern acts more like Frieren's mom, but they're both equally mother figures to one another, and Malay's incredible vocals brings water to my eyes as the visuals touch my soul. Now behind the scenes, I had one of my co-hosts listen to all the songs that were nominated in the poll for the Viewers' Choice Awards, including the songs that the viewers themselves nominated. If you want to see our commentary for that, be sure to check out the full-length version of this video on our Patreon, because I know if I added that to the YouTube cut, this video would be sent to copyright hell. But now that he knows all the nominations, it's time for him to read out your choice for the best ending song of Fall 2023.
Without further ado, the winner of the audience choice for best ending song is... Spy X Family. Todome no Ichigeki. I'm so happy. I cannot believe it won. Dude, I thought Frieren or Dr. Sora would have won. This is beautiful. I can't believe it.
Best opening. Ooh, it's time to talk about some bangers! The best ending song category may have been filled with some heavy hitters, but best opening is here to pick us back up because oh my god, these are some incredibly hard songs. Narrowing these down to my top 3 was so hard, especially since each song has their own voice and feel. I mean, just take a look at Undead Unlock. It feels like the song was ripped straight out of the early 2000s, and I am all here for the nostalgia that Queen Bee brings to the table. And hey, Rising of the Shield Hero may not be all that anymore, but Mad Kid always cooks when it comes to their opening songs. So let's take a peek behind the curtain and see which 3 songs stuck out the most to me this season. Number 3. Entertainment by Millie. Goblin Slayer Season 2. You know one of the main reasons as to why I can't wait for Goblin Slayer Season 3 to come out is because I am going to love whatever Millie cooks. The first opening was already good, but my god, Entertainment steps it up to a whole nother level. From the visuals to Millie's voice and lyrics, there isn't anyone who can craft a song that fits Goblin Slayer's world and aesthetic better. Badass yet tragic, Millie perfectly captures a man who refuses to let the gods roll the dice on his fate and takes his fate into his own hands. And to those gods, they better pray that Goblin Slayer doesn't find them. Number 2. Be a Flower by Ryoko Shoko Shaki. The Apothecary Diaries. You cannot imagine my surprise when I played the first episode of The Apothecary Diaries only to be blasted by such a banger. And it's more than just an awesome song with great lyrics. If you know your flowers, then there is so much symbolism hidden within every frame, with flowers either representing Mao Mao or other characters within the cast. Somehow combining rock with electric synth and a touch of classical music, Be a Flower is the perfect song to capture Mao Mao's beauty. And if you take it as being sung from Jinchi's POV, then the pure admiration that is in every lyric makes that much more sense. Best Opening Song. Yushu by Yasobi. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. In classic Yasobi fashion, she disguises the true pain behind Yushu in an epic facade, but man, if these lyrics don't tell the story of Frieren perfectly... Okay, like duh, right? With Frieren being an immortal elf, she has to witness Himmel's legacy slowly get forgotten. While he's still fresh in the minds of the people, the world is moving on and it's moving on quickly. The once greatest hero has already been reduced to stories and overgrown statues. How much longer is it going to take for Frieren to stumble upon someone who's never heard of her original party's ventures? And then this scene right here, when she turns around because something catches her attention, only for her to get further and further away from it. Even if something seems familiar, time will always keep moving forward until you can never reach it again. Just... it's so simple but so beautiful. And then you have the next part. That's all Frieren's ever been doing. No matter how many decades go by, she will always carry Himmel with her. The essence of these 10 seconds are perfectly captured in the midpoint of Season 1 as Frieren and her dwarf friend reminisce about the past and what it means to carry someone with you to the future. And oh my god, the ring. That's a whole episode on its own, and I didn't even realize it was there until I rewatched the opening for this segment. And then there's the final stretch of the song, which I probably can't get away with playing in isolation, but the TLDR of it is that Frieren is saying that she wants to understand the meaning behind her tears, treading back through the path she and Himmel had taken, and having a sense that she'll find the meaning even if Himmel isn't by her side anymore. I mean, that's the whole premise of the show right there. She wants to understand what it is about Himmel that made her so emotional. He might be the first person whose death she cried over in centuries, and she wants to know why. And even if he's no longer physically there with her, she'll carry his spirit in her heart and she'll continue to move forward to find that part of herself. All this leading up to the final shot of the opening as past and present move forward in time while Frieren is the only one who remains in the middle, split between the two, always having a foot in both doors. Absolutely chef's kiss to whoever cooked up these visuals and to Yosobi for delivering yet another masterpiece. So now that I'm done geeking over Frieren again, I've done the exact same thing that I did with the best ending songs and had my co-hosts listen to all the nominations here before they revealed your winner. So if you want to see the entirety of that, be sure to check out the tourist cut over on Patreon. But I'm sure the Audience Choice Award came as no surprise to all of you at home.
Alright, Audience Choice for Best Opening Song. Yusha by Yozabai, Frieren Beyond Journey's End. You see that, Kenny? You see that, Kenny?
No.
You see that, Kenny?
Who's
doing the N-word?
Listen. The people were fucking wrong. The people were wrong. They don't know what they want. This is
Shut your bitch ass up.
Audience Choice Awards. So here's where things start to get a little different. Those of you who are familiar with my previous awards videos would know that each of these categories here had their own dedicated segments in the video. But I've got to be honest, building up to reveal the winners every time started to feel a bit samey. I also felt like I ended up repeating the reasons as to why I chose those characters in later segments, or I'd have to hold myself back to not reveal future category winners. A big example of what I'm talking about here is David from Cyberpunk, because a lot of the reasons why I chose David to be the best boy of the season was the reasons why I chose him to be best protagonist, and the reasons as to why I chose Cyberpunk to be best anime. So for the sake of not repeating myself and to make a more streamlined video, best boy, girl, and protagonist categories are going to be turned into one quick segment where the winners are voted by you guys. If I have any commentary to add, I'll add that in the quickfire response, but I'm not going to spend as much time focusing on these categories as I do for most of the other ones going forward. Not only will this make things go along a little bit more smoothly and make the video more compact, but this also gives your votes way more agency, as now you are the deciding factor for each of these categories. So let's get started with Best Boy.
Josh, why are we talking about boys when we can be talking about men?
Well, Ness, the title's not supposed to be taken literally, you know. Best Boy's open to all ages.
I don't care about your reasons. The only real choice here is that anyone from My New Boss is goofy. Anyone else is just blasphemy. Blasphemy! And audience choice for best boy is Lloyd Forger.
I can't say I'm surprised.
At least he's a dilf.
fucking bullshit. I can't believe this.
Oh, Kenny, where'd you come from?
You're telling me in this fucking season we have Himmel the fucking GOAT start? Ryusui the like basic vanilla Lloyd won this fucking what?
Well, vanilla is my favorite. I mean flavor. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Shut up, Sora. Nobody gives a shit about your hentai tags, dude. Ugh.
Why don't you shut up, Kenny? This was my segment.
Let me mourn.
Best girl.
So, the audience choice for best girl goes to... Oh wait, it's a tie between Frieren and Mao Mao. Wow, I see you guys couldn't make a choice. I mean, I can't blame you. If it wasn't going to be a fox girl, I'm glad that these shawties got their chance to shine.
Best protagonist. Now this is the nomination I have been waiting for this entire season. We were blessed this time around with not only 2 of the best female characters, but 2 of the best main characters in anime with Frieren and Mao Mao, both of which earned their spots for best protagonist for their own reasons. One is an aloof grandma trying to grapple with what it means to create human connections as she goes on a grand quest with her new party, while the other is the most human of all, who just wants to live life with her head down and out of others' business. These 2 couldn't be more different from each other, and yet they're the strongest characters of the season by far. From lovers to besties to family units to one of the most goated MCs of our times. Let's take a look behind the envelope to see who you chose for Best Protagonist of Fall 2023. Audience choice for Best Protagonist. The Forger family. Really? These guys? Okay, bias aside, the Forger family unit was at the top of their game this time around. Everyone was given a moment to shine, even Bond, the true best boy of the season. Best Anime of Fall 2023. When it comes down to the list of nominations, the winner might be obvious, but let's not discredit everyone else's journey to get to this point. While it may have just been a footnote in the Best Fantasy section, Dr. Stone continues its incredibly fun ride with the wrap-up of the Treasure Island arc. We may have spent a majority of this arc in a single location, which may have been a slight disappointment to those who were hoping for a more exploration-based show, but the Treasure Island arc gave us one of my favorite antagonists of the year. Ibarra is the perfect mirror of Senku. He may not be as scientifically gifted as him, but he makes up for that with his tactics. Both are incredibly smart characters and they wield their brains to their strengths. Through his tactical mind, Ibarra was able to give Senku and the Kingdom of Science a run for their money, doing the near impossible and standing up there with Tsukasa as a worthy antagonist of the series. Goblin Slayer Season 2 was an absolute treat. For those of you who didn't like Season 1, this new addition to the story probably won't change your mind. But goddamn is this show badass. But it's not all about killing goblins this time around either. Season 2 actually shows us what's behind the helmet. No, not literally, but we do get a glimpse of Goblin Slayer's doubts, his dreams, and his loneliness. And the world seems to be getting bigger too. More locations and more characters are being added with each arc, leading to a pretty dope conclusion for the season. Scott Pilgrim and Castlevania certainly took a risk when it came to their adaptations, with Scott Pilgrim going in a drastically different direction if you're only familiar with the movie. On its own, I think Nocturne has established a decent enough ground to stand on, and I'm actually pretty excited to see where the series goes on from here. Pluto was this huge thing that the manga community was hyping up, and I can't lie, when I saw those hour-long episodes on Netflix, I got excited to get my teeth into the series. But at a certain point, the series started to lose me. I think the show got lost in its messaging and had a fairly rushed finale that feels detached from the atmosphere of the rest of the series. Don't take this as me not recommending it. I can see why so many people love this show, and the themes are strong enough to get a nomination on this list, even if it wasn't my cup of tea. While fun, I can't really say that I have too much to talk about when it comes to Undead Unluck and Shangri-La. And I promise you that I'll give Eminence and Shadow another try. At this point, I can't help but feel like I'm missing out on something. And then there were three. The three juggernauts of fall 2023. Apothecary Diaries, Frieren, and Spy Family. Each brings their own unique aspects, stories, characters, and niches to the table. But only one is allowed to take home the title of Best Anime of Fall 2023. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, Spy Family didn't really have a leg in this race, at least for me personally. Still a very fun season though. When it came down between the Apothecary Diaries and Frieren, I thought I'd be more split in my decision. The Apothecary deserves all the attention it's getting and more. If you're struggling to write a female character, Mao Mao is the perfect example to dissect. There is so much nuance to her character and the way she interacts with the world around her. And that world is so unique to this show. But the very same can be said for Frieren and so much more. Within the first 12 episodes of each show, so many twists and turns happen. Moments you may have thought that wouldn't be in the series because of tone smack you right in the face as each show boldly declares that they're not going to fall into the tropes their genres are known for. But when it comes to Frieren, at least for me personally, there's something deeper. Time is one of the many things we don't have. Every second we spend working, doom scrolling on Instagram or TikTok if you're not from the States, watching a stupid anime video or just laying down and contemplating our place in the world is a second we'll never get back. So what happens when you have all the time in the world? When a decade is less than a year for you, when you can't appreciate the time you have with others until it's too late? Frieren has some heavy hitting episodes. While I can't say I cried while watching this, I felt a pit in my chest open as I watched these characters we didn't even know until 20 minutes ago, grow old and eventually die. Even though we never saw their adventures together, it felt like I was watching an epilogue to an adventure I've been watching for years. Frieren is more than just about what time means to someone. Once jumping through decades, we quickly start to only flash ahead to months or even weeks between episodes as our favorite granny elf is taught what connections truly mean. Spending 10 years looking for a specific flower is nothing to her, but she has to learn that when keeping human company, she has to appreciate and make the most of her time with them. While she doesn't understand the meaning of watching a sun rising, she comes to learn the beauty of witnessing it with the people she loves. This show has an incredibly well-crafted message with each and every episode. It's hard to describe the feeling you get when Frieren and Fern sit down and just watch as the sun rises. Oh yeah, I guess there's some action in it too. Overall, I'd say fall was a pretty good send-off to anime for the year 2023. There was a little something here for everyone. Some dark fantasies, some pretty decent isekai, some great parodies. I think the only thing missing from this roster is a solid romance. While I love the hot dumpster fire that is Girlfriend Girlfriend, I think the whole of a truly gripping non-harem love story was felt for romance fans this season. Luckily, it looks like winter 2024 is going to have a lot of those to talk about, and spring is going to have even more. And while I may not have included it in the awards due to how it was formatted, fall 2023 also saw the finale of Attack on Titan. Again. It's wild to think that it's been 10 years since the first episode of this masterpiece dropped. While some may have been disappointed with the ending, I for one loved it, and I actually got depressed that the show is really over now. But while one generation defining show ends, new faces rise to fill that hole. Shows like Frieren, The Apothecary Diaries, The Eminence in Shadow, Rent-A-Girlfriend, Jujutsu Kaisen, Vinland Saga, and My Hero Academia all stand proud as they usher in a new era of fans to keep this wonderful industry alive. And when their eventual time runs up, new shows will rise to do the very same for them. Attack on Titan's legacy will carry on for years to come. Thank you so much for the memories and the lessons, Attack on Titan. May you rest knowing you were able to tell the story you wanted to tell, while also creating many, many anime fans in your wake. But what's an anime awards video without my top 5 shows and recommendations of the season, right? Attack on Titan is a given, so that won't be taking up any slots here. If you couldn't tell by the short essay I gave a couple minutes ago, the number 1 slot has to go to Frieren, no question about it. You can tell so much love and attention was put into every frame of Frieren. I mean, no show has the right to have fabric animation this gorgeous. My second recommendation has to go to The Apothecary Diaries, my runner-up for best anime of fall 2023. If you want some good drama, Apothecary Diaries has got you covered. My number 3 has to be Dr. Stone. I've loved this series from episode 1 and have covered my journey through each episode with reaction videos and discussions. Even if you don't like science, I still recommend that you give Dr. Stone a chance because hey, you might be tricked into learning something pretty neat here. Alright, so here's where we're moving away from recommendations and going into more of my personal taste. Goblin Slayer is my number 4 for this season. I know the show isn't that deep and the arc with the kid was annoying as hell, but there is something that is just so primal whenever I watch Orkbold do his thing. For fantasy lovers, we'll have some alternatives in the honorable mentions, but Goblin Slayer is my guilty pleasure and I love it. And once again, going for what appeals to me and not general audiences, Girlfriend Girlfriend snags that number 5 slot. I can't tell you the last time I laughed so hard at a show. I know this show isn't for everyone, but I busted a gut to it. 10 out of 10 masterpiece, Attack on Titan's legacy on anime is absolutely secured with this one. But hey, those are just my personal top 5. Tell me your favorite anime in the comments down below. There's plenty more to recommend out of this season. If you need that isekai itch scratched, I have it on good authority that The Eminence in Shadow is worthy of your time. In the need of a hardcore, raunchy rom-com, The 100 Girlfriends is the place for you. Want some chill slice of life office vibes? You can't go wrong with My New Boss is Goofy. History will remember them as friends. And for some spectacle, you can't go wrong with Scott Pilgrim, Castlevania, Undead Unluck, or Shangri-La. With so many anime to pick from this season, there is a little something for everyone. This video would not have been possible without the wonderful tourist over on the Patreon, so I want to give a big thank you to Tim, Mr. Mophead, Carlos Guzman, Ann Leafdoor, and Matthew Garcia for being supporters of the channel. If you want to help make these types of videos possible, even just donating $1 to Patreon is enough to get your name called out in the credits as well as receive early access and bloopers for these types of videos as well as our reactions. Thank you all so very much for watching. As I'm sure some of you longtime Anime Award viewers have noticed, I played around with the formula in this video, but I'll have a more specific breakdown of things that I'm planning on changing and adding at the end of the Winter 2024 awards, as the Viewer's Choice Award poll for that video has already been cast at the time of recording this. I will see you tourists soon. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I start doing a live stream of my tier list for every anime that came out in fall 2023. And remember, keep watching anime. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!